Welcome back to the channel. I'm Daniel. You're on Hustle Every Day. And today we're going to talk about and demonstrate the Vever 5-ton hydraulic gear puller.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next?
So the first thing I want to talk about is the price and where I got mine from. I paid $37 from this from a place called Temu. I'm sure you've heard of it also. Now, this is not any type of promotion for Temu. That's just where I happen to purchase it. Obviously, it is Vever brand, so you can get it off the Vever website or you can get it off the Amazon website. So there's quite a few places that you could get it. And I will put a link below for some of the better priced units on Amazon that I can find, so that if you folks are interested in getting one off Amazon, you can just click the links below. They are affiliate links, but it'll help you go straight to the product and it'll help support my channel a little bit. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that I went with the 5-ton instead of the 12-ton or the 10-ton or the 6-ton. There's quite a few different options out there, and personally, I went with the 5-ton because it is a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, and you know, when you're down working on the ground, for me, working on a car typically, something that's a little bit lighter and easier to handle is going to be a little bit more useful for me. And in all reality, when you think about 5 tons, and that's a lot. Unless you're working on some kind of crazy heavy machinery or big, like maybe military vehicles, I don't know, bigger than the stuff I'm working on, I don't personally think dealing with the extra weight and girth and all of that is really worth it when a 5-ton is going to be more than enough and costs considerably less. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is what it comes with and how you put it together. I have already put it together because it is so stupidly simple that I don't think you folks need to watch me put it together, but I'll give you kind of a quick little talk through demo and then we'll go from there. But you do get a nice blow molded case from Vever, obviously meant for this tool, which is nice. I know a lot of folks may just put it together and leave it put together, but for someone like myself, I don't use it that often that it's worth keeping put together. So I'll probably put it back in the box and it'll get stored with my other blow molded cases. Now, you also get the hydraulic jack or pump itself. This is all one unit. So what we can do is just twist this out of here and it'll actually unthread. And when you're done unthreading that, you are left with this piece here, which is really pretty light. I'd say maybe 7-8 pounds. So not like the lightest thing ever, but it's not incredibly heavy. But at 7 or 8 pounds, when you jump up to the 6, 10, 12 tons, you're going to potentially double the weight. Again, keeping it fairly lightweight and easy to handle is nice. And right here you have the on and off valve. So obviously to pull a gear or a bearing or something like that off, we're going to turn it to off. I had to move the camera around a little bit, make it easier. That way I wasn't holding the camera. But you have your top piece here. This is where you put your jack handle into, and that's what allows you to pump it out. So this is all one unit right here. And that'll fit in the case on its own separately. And then we have this right here, which comes in quite a few different pieces. So you have this piece right here, and then you have the 3 handles or grips, grabbers, whatever you want to call them right here. And then you have 2 separate brackets for each one of them, along with 2 bolts and 2 nuts that hold everything in. It looks fairly complex, but it takes about 2 minutes to put everything together. All you really need to do is just hand tighten the nuts down, because you want this stuff to spin freely, and a lot of what you're doing does not necessarily rely on these being extremely tight, because we're actually doing the pulling motion. Now, what I liked about the Vever versus some of the other ones, this gives a few different configurations. So this would be the configuration that we would have it set up for doing, you know, like a gear pull. But what I'm going to be testing, we are going to do, let's see if I can tap that loose a little bit. We're going to be doing something a little, it's really cold, I'm having a hard time getting a hold of it. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. So I am going to set the configuration up just a bit differently. There we go. So I'll need to undo this one. Just that easy. And what I'm going to do is take this one off. I got them fairly tight. I hand tighten those. That's interesting. Normally I can just pop them right off. Alright, so we'll take this one off. And now the configuration that we're going to use for this will actually be this right here. So I am going to put them directly across from each other, and I'm only going to need 2 of them. I'll just put that back right there. It doesn't matter which way the bolt and the nut go through. So I just thought this was integral in whatever one I bought, because I wanted the ability to do different things, you know, have different configurations. And the last piece to the puzzle is this right here, and this is the nose piece. And it just threads right in. And I would imagine you could thread in a bolt or something else longer to help give yourself more reach, or maybe even use this as a press versus a puller. You know, put something with a bolt head on it, and you could actually reverse, and you could press something out. So that would work well also. And then, see, this is where it gets just a little bit awkward, and this thing's really not that heavy, but at any rate, we got it, so we're going to thread it in. You can see that's actually, the nose is pushed out just a little bit, so when we turn it, you see it went back in. So that's essentially the basic setup for this. And then this is on, obviously, one big set of threads. So depending on how little or how much of a reach you need, you can adjust this as needed. All right, so you may be wondering what in the heck you're looking at. This is extremely janky. I know. I want to hear everybody in the comments make fun of me for this, because it's pretty ridiculous for a gear puller, but it is going to work very well for demonstrating exactly how this thing works. As you can see, we're already locked behind the wood here, and if that was a gear or something like that, you would just lock the little grabbers behind it. So we're going to adjust it just a little bit. And I would say this is probably the most tedious part of doing this, is just getting it kind of lined up. There we go. There, and we'll lock that behind it. But this really goes for about any gear puller that you're using. You got to get it lined up, and it's a bit of a pain in the butt sometimes to get it lined up. Now I'm going to turn this around, or give you a different angle, hopefully, so you can kind of see what's going on here. And we're going to take our jack handle, slide it into here, and just start. Oh, you know what? We need to turn this to off, so we want to take it off. We just start pumping it, and I mean, this is just extremely easy. I can just one finger. Now obviously this wasn't stuck on terribly hard, but I did spend a little bit of time jamming this on. The hole was cut about 1/8 smaller than the rod. What you do is just keep on keeping on until whatever you're trying to get off, in this instance the block of wood, comes off. You can see that's how tight it was. It actually split the wood. I really had to work to jam it on there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this is an absolutely extraordinary tool because there is so much that you can do with it. You know, I think on top of pulling, you could also press. So you could use it almost like a mobile press if you're trying to press out a bearing or something like that, which would be pretty cool. Something I'm going to have to try and mess around with a little bit more. But for the $37 that I paid, it's very worthwhile having in the garage, especially seeing as it comes with a blow molded case like that. It makes it easy to store. It's easy to put together, easy to take apart. And I think it's something that every mechanic should have in their garage. I think it's something every man should have in their garage because you never know when you're going to need something like that. But guys, with that said, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, hit that like button. If you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button. I have all kinds of cool videos planned, all kinds of different stuff. And other than that, you folks have an incredible day, and I'll see you next time.